You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020. The Red Sox and Indians played each other. A close game this was, 4-3 the final score. The Indians took the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Red Sox were trying to claw back, but they scored one run and failed to complete a full comeback. They lost. Oliver Perez got the win, Heath Hembree got the loss, and Brad Hand earned his 23rd save of the season. AL Central baseball here. The White Sox and Royals played each other, the first-place team in the AL Central against the last-place team in the AL Central. But the Royals took an early lead, and the White Sox, who were making a comeback, scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning, but failed to score 6, and they lost to the Royals. Danny Duffy got the win, Lucas Giolito got the loss, and Ian Kennedy earned his 9th save of the season. The Rays and Twins played each other. 6-0 was the final score. The Rays got shut out. Jake Odorizzi got the win, and Blake Snell got the loss. It was scoreless through 4, but then the Twins scored 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and 1 in the 8th, to total 6. AL West baseball here. The Rangers and Angels played each other. 9-1 was the final score. The Rangers got 3 runs in the 3rd inning, 1 in the 5th, and 5 in the 7th inning. The Angels only scored in the 6th inning, and they lost by 8. Corey Kluber got the win, and Tyler Glasnow got the loss. Yankees-Mariners, these two played each other. 5-4 the final score. The Mariners scored first. They got 4 runs before the 3rd inning was over. Then the Yankees scored 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. They also got a run in the 3rd inning, which allowed them to pull away with a 5-4 victory. Masahiro Tanaka got the win, Nestor Cortez Jr. got the loss, and Aroldis Chapman earned his 12th save of the season. The Tigers and Athletics played each other, 7-6 the final score. The Tigers were making a comeback. They scored 3 in the top of the 9th inning, but fell short by a run. Jesus Luzardo got the win, Spencer Turnbull got the loss, and Liam Hendricks earned his 22nd save of the season. The Phillies and Marlins played each other, 10-6 the final score of this game. Nick Pivetta got the win, Caleb Smith got the loss, and Sir Anthony Dominguez earned save number 1 this season. The Brewers and Nationals played each other, and the Brewers lost by 2 runs, 7-5 the final score. Each team scored a healthy amount of offense in this game and scored in multiple innings. The Brewers also got 15 hits as compared to the Nationals' 8, but the Brewers lost this one. Anthony Voth got the win, Ray Black got the loss, and Sean Doolittle earned his 21st save of the season. Interleague baseball here between the Astros and the Mets, 5-3 the final score. Zach Greinke got the win, Marcus Stroman got the loss, and Roberto Osuna earned his 19th save of the season. The Astros got early runs, and they put up a crooked number in the 5th, a 3 spot, which helped them win this game. The Blue Jays and Cardinals played each other, 5-2 the final score. The Blue Jays won. They got 2 runs in the 5th inning and put some ones up across the entire scoreline. The Cardinals were only able to score in the 6th and the 8th innings. Chase Anderson got the win, Dakota Hudson got the loss, and Ken Giles earned save number 15 on the season. NL Central baseball here. The Reds and Pirates played each other, and the Reds came out scoring early. 3 runs in the 1st, 2 runs in the 2nd. The Pirates were clawing back. They got 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, but then the Reds put up another 3 spot in the 7th inning, and that helped them carry away the win. Robert Stevenson got the win, and Steven Brault got the loss. Interleague baseball between the Orioles and the Cubs, 4-2 the final score, and the Orioles came out on top. The Cubs scored their only 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Meanwhile, the Orioles scored 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th to win the ballgame. Paul Fry got the win, Kyle Ryan got the loss, and Michael Givens earned his 19th save of the season. NL West baseball between the Rockies and Diamondbacks, and the D-backs won 6-2. Madison Bumgarner got the win, and Archie Bradley got his 13th save of the season. The Braves and Dodgers played a close game. It was filled with much offense, too, but the Dodgers edged the Braves 6-4 the final score. While the Dodgers scored in multiple innings, the Braves got all 4 of their runs in the 7th. The difference maker in this one was the Dodgers having a 3-run 7th inning, and they were able to win the ballgame. Joe Kelly got the win, Darren O'Day got the loss, and Kenley Jansen earned his 22nd save of the season. Another NL West game. The Padres beat the Giants. 1-0 was the final score of this game. It was such a well-pitched game that it went into extra innings scoreless. The Padres found a way to score. They got 7 hits in this game and scored the go-ahead run in the top of the 10th and secured the win in the bottom half. The Giants got no runs on 2 hits. Matt Strahm got the win, and Kirby Yates earned his 22nd save of the season. Looking at standings now, starting in the American League East, the New York Yankees still lead. They're 37-25. They've won 2 games in a row. The Blue Jays have gotten hot. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They're 33-29, and they're 4 games back of the Yankees. The Rays are in third place with a 30-33 record. They've lost 3 games in a row now. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they're 7.5 back of the Yankees. The Orioles are also 7.5 games back, but they're in 4th place because of their 29-32 record. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, though they won today. And the Red Sox still in last place, 29-34 is their record. They're 8.5 games back, and they lost today. In the AL Central, the Twins are still in the lead. Their record is 43-19. They've won 5 games in a row and 8 of their last 10. The White Sox have taken quite a turn since coming from May to June. They've lost 4 games in a row. 7 of their last 10 they've lost, and they're 4.5 games back of the Twins now. The Indians are 34-28. They're 9 games back. The Tigers, 23-37, 19 games back. And the Royals beat the White Sox today, and the Royals are 20-41. They're 22.5 games back. They're still in last place, but they've gotten their 20th win of the season. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics are 37-25. They lead this division. The Astros second best, 2.5 games back with a 34-27 record. The Angels are 28-32, 8 games back. The Rangers 26-35, 10.5 games back. And the Mariners are 23-40, 14.5 games back. They've lost 6 games in a row and 8 of their last 10. American League wildcard standings, the Chicago White Sox still at the top. Though they've lost 4 games in a row, they're still the number 1 team in the wildcard section, and they're up a few games on the Astros, who are 34-27. The Indians are 34-28. They're a half game away from that second-place wildcard spot. The Blue Jays are 1.5 games back, and they're a game back of the Indians. The Rays are 30-33. They're 5 games back, and that's really where the divide is between the Blue Jays, who are 1.5 back, and the Rays, who are 5 games back. You see the rest of the teams and how far they are away from a wild card spot to this point in the season. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals are 35-25. They still lead the division. They've won 3 games in a row and 7 of their last 10. The Phillies are 33-26. They're 1.5 games back. The Marlins 32-29. They're 3.5 games back. The Braves are 31-31, 5 games back. They've lost 2 games in a row. And the Mets are 9 games back. They've lost 5 games in a row. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and they're still in last place, now falling further behind. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 32-30. They're still at the top of this division, and they're the only team in the division with a winning percentage over 500. The Cubs in second place with a 30-32 record, 2 games back of the Cardinals. The Brewers are 28-33, 3.5 games back. The Reds are 25-36, 6.5 games back, and the Pirates have lost 3 games in a row. They're 23-37. They're 8 games back of the Cardinals for first place. In the National League West, the Dodgers are 42-18. They're still at the top of this division. They've won 11 games in a row now. They're on their way to another large winning streak. The Padres 37-25. They're 6 games back of the Dodgers for first place. They've won 2 games in a row. The Diamondbacks are on a 3-game winning streak. They're 32-29, 10.5 games back. The Rockies are 24-36, 18 games back. They've lost 3 games in a row. And the Giants have lost 2 in a row. They're 24-37, 18.5 games back. National League wildcard standings look like this. The Padres at second place in the NL West are first in the wildcard standings. The Phillies second best, a few games back of the Padres with a 33-26 record. The Diamondbacks, the next closest team to be a part of a wildcard spot. The Marlins, same record as the Diamondbacks, same amount of games back. The Diamondbacks and Marlins are 2 games back of that second wildcard spot that the Phillies occupy right now. And the Braves, still relatively in contention at this point. They're 31-31, 3.5 games back of that second wildcard spot. And every other team on this wildcard standings list has a winning percentage under 500. And looking at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera had a .370 average. He's still at the top. Carlos Santana 2 points behind him with a .368 average, and Michael Brantley third best with a .350. In the National League, David Dahl's at a .361, Jonathan Villar at a .354, and Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top 3 with a .344 batting average. Right behind him, very close, is Ronald Acuna Jr. Hits leaders in the American League, DJ LeMahieu's at 88, Miguel Andujar is at 86, and Miguel Cabrera third best with 84. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is at 91 hits, and it's not close. Ronald Acuna Jr., the next best, with 78. And rounding out the top 3 is Paul Goldschmidt with 77. At bat leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar is at 258. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is at 257. He has an 11 at-bat lead. Second best is Ozzie Albies with 246 at-bats. Doubles leaders in the American League: Anthony Rendon's at 25, Jose Abreu's at 23, Miguel Andujar's at 21. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has reached 30, Christian Yelich at 23, Ketel Marte, Trey Turner, and Brandon Crawford all tied for third best with 19. Triples leaders in the American League: Jose Altuve's at 5, Adalberto Mondesi's at 4, and there's a long list of players tied with 3 triples, tied for third best in the American League. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's at 7, Victor Robles, Hunter Pence, and Chris Bryant tied for second best with 5 triples. Home run leaders in the American League: Josh Donaldson has 22, Chris Davis is at 21, and now there are 2 players tied for third best with 20. It's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and JD Martinez. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is out to 25. Nobody else in the National League is over 20 yet. Max Muncy second best with 18. Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top 3 with 17. RBI leaders in the American League: Lourdes Gurriel Jr. still at the top. He has 62. Austin Meadows and Josh Donaldson tied for second best with 54. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt's at 50. Cody Bellinger's at 48. Christian Yelich is at 45. Runs scored leaders in the American League: JD Martinez has 49 runs scored. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at 55. Stolen base leaders in the American League: Adalberto Mondesi's at 14. He's the leader. D. Gordon second best with 13. Malik Smith rounds out the top 3 with 12. In the National League, Starling Marte has 24 stolen bases. Jonathan Villar with 19, and Trey Turner third best with 18. Walks leaders in the American League: Shin-Soo Choo at the top of the AL with 39. In the National League, Rhys Hoskins has walked one more time. He's at 41 now. He is the leader of the NL. On-base percentage leaders in the American League: Miguel Cabrera's at a 439 on-base percentage. Mike Trout second best with a 433, and Carlos Santana third best with a 429. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt's at a 442, Dansby Swanson second best with a 438, and Christian Yelich third best with a 436. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League: Josh Donaldson's at a 687, Chris Davis at a 661, and Mike Trout at a 659. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at a 767, the only player in baseball left with a slugging percentage over 700. Christian Yelich second best with a 672, and Paul Goldschmidt third best with a 652. On-base percentage plus slugging percentage leaders in the American League: Josh Donaldson a 1.104. He's at the top. Mike Trout second best with a 1.092. Chris Davis with a 1.068. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 1.194 OPS. Christian Yelich second best with a 1.107, and Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top 3 with a 1.094. And these are the only players in the National League with an OPS over 1,000. Wins leaders in the American League: Kenta Maeda with 8 wins. Jake Odorizzi and Hyunjin Ryu tied for second best with 7. In the National League pitcher wins, the leader is Walker Buehler. He has 9 wins. Madison Bumgarner and David Price tied for second best with 7. Losses leaders in the American League: 2 undefeated, Kenta Maeda and Mike Minor. They're at the top. In the National League, Marcus Stroman and Walker Buehler each have 1 loss, and they're tied for that top spot. Saves leaders in the American League: Brad Hand has reached 23. He's at the top. Liam Hendricks one behind him with 22. Michael Givens and Roberto Ozuna on the doorstep of 20. They're at 19, tied for third best. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos leads all of baseball with 24 saves. Kenley Jansen and Kirby Yates tied for second best with 22. ERA leaders in the American League: Jordan Zimmerman, the only one with an earned run average under 2. In the National League, there are 2 pitchers with an ERA under 2. Walker Buehler at the top spot with a 149. Marcus Stroman second best with a 194. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers: Mike Minor and Gio Gonzalez at the top with 4. And there are 2 players tied. Well, now there are 4 players tied in the National League with 4 home runs allowed: Caleb Smith, Garrett Richards, Marcus Stroman, and Jacob deGrom. They're all tied for the top spot. Shutout leaders in the American League: somebody's been added to this list. Garrett Cole, Masahiro Tanaka. They've been at the top for a while, but they're now in the company of Jake Odorizzi, who has thrown 2 shutouts this season with the Twins. In the National League, Jacob deGrom is at 3. Zach Wheeler and Walker Buehler tied for second best with 2. Strikeout leaders in the American League: Garrett Cole has a large margin for his lead. He's at 111 strikeouts. Lucas Giolito second best with 97, and Carlos Carrasco third best with 95. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has gotten over 100. He's at 103. Steven Strasburg second best with 97, and Yu Darvish third best with 94. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers: Jake Odorizzi, Garrett Cole, and Masahiro Tanaka the top 3. They've thrown 2 complete games this season, and both of those, for all 3 of the pitchers, were shutouts. In the National League, Jacob deGrom and Zach Wheeler have thrown 3 complete games. Aaron Nola and Walker Buehler tied for third best with 2. Innings pitched leaders in the American League: Hyunjin Ryu has 87 and 2/3 innings tallied. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw the first one in baseball to 90 innings pitched this season. Walks allowed among American League pitchers, Carlos Carrasco's at the top of the AL with 11 walks allowed. In the National League, Brett Anderson and Trevor Williams tied for the top spot with 16. Whip leaders in the American League, Jake Odorizzi, the only one under 1. He's at a .98. In the National League, there's nobody under 1. Clayton Kershaw's right at the 1 mark, though. Marcus Stroman second best with a 1.03, and Aaron Nola and Jacob deGrom also have some variation of 1.3, but their insignificant figures there that you don't see are exactly the same, and they're tied for third best. Pitching war leaders in the American League, Jake Odorizzi's at a 2.3, Carlos Carrasco at a 2.1, Shane Bieber also at a 2.1, as is Corey Kluber. They make up the top 4 on this list. In the National League, Jacob deGrom's at a 2.4, Yu Darvish at a 2.2, and Clayton Kershaw, top 3, he's at a 2.1. Batting war leaders in the American League, Marcus Semien and Josh Donaldson, 1 and 2 on this list with a 4.1 WAR. DJ LeMahieu rounds out the top 3, he's at a 4 WAR this season. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at a 5.1, Christian Yelich second best with a 4.2, and Jonathan Villar rounds out the top 3 with a 3.6. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.